I am joined by Republican David Buell, a business owner of a financial services practice, and also Democrat incumbent Representative Patty Kim. This debate is our chance to get to know where these candidates stand on the issues. We do have some ground rules to go over. We have 3 issues. Each of you will get to respond and offer a rebuttal to your opponent's response. Responses will be limited to 45 seconds, rebuttals 30 seconds. To determine who answers first, we are using alphabetical order of your last names for the first question and a pre-debate coin flip for the third. The first issue we have today is education funding. Is there a better way to not only fund our schools, but to fund them fairly? Mr. Buell?
Yes, the property tax that goes to school funding, the formula is needs to be looked and needs to be refined. I've knocked on 6,971 doors and got the opportunity to talk to Mary, who's a widowed woman, elderly woman, and she's worried about not only the economy but also paying the high property taxes that she has, and she just hopes it doesn't go up because she's worried about keeping her house. So it absolutely has to be addressed.
Representative Patty Kim?
Yeah, thanks to the Wolf administration, we've made some great strides in increasing funding for education. Unfortunately, the state pays about 30% of what public schools actually need. Other states surrounding our state, Commonwealth, pays up to 50%. So a lot of the pressure goes back to our local property taxes, which goes up to help fund public education. Some will say, we keep spending more money on public schools. I think the school districts need to better communicate why they need more resources and more funding. We have more special education students coming into our schools that need those extra resources. We have a major teacher shortage out there that we need to make sure that we can properly compensate them for their salaries and whatnot. So there are needs. I think the state has a responsibility to fund it appropriately.
Mr. Buell.
The only thing I'd like to add is, in the West Shore, we're blessed with having exemplary school districts, and unfortunately it's quite a dichotomy in the city of Harrisburg. And because of the relationships I have with the West Shore, PTOs working with school boards, I love the opportunity for collaboration of superintendents between the West Shore and East Shore to find better ways, because Representative Kim's right, it's not a funding issue, it's a mechanics issue.
30 seconds to you.
You know what, I want to shock our audience and just say that, we are able to compete with each other and share ideas without going dirty. And I just wanted to thank David Buell for having a clean campaign with me, and that we can communicate ideas and way we can move things forward.
All right, our next issue deals with gun laws. There are a lot of legal gun owners who are against new regulations, saying criminals just don't obey the laws in the first place. What can be done to make Pennsylvania more safe? Representative Kim?
Sure, I believe everyone has a right to protect their family and their properties, and to respect the Second Amendment right. I also believe that we can do more as we have a public health crisis with gun violence. I think there are bipartisan support for universal background checks to make sure that the guns don't go into the wrong hands. I also believe that we can also close some of the loopholes. There are ghost guns out there without serial numbers, and so it's very difficult to track down guns with police if they're involved in a homicide or a murder or whatnot. We can do that. Those are some easy fixes that I think will be helpful to make sure that we keep the guns out of the wrong people, and we make sure that we enforce the laws that we have right now.
Mr. Buell, same question.
Sure. I'm a member of the NRA, and I do have a carry permit. I don't feel that it's needing more laws on the books. I think we need to enforce the laws that are on the books. And when it comes to crime, I think we need to support our police officers fully, not look to reimagine police departments or defund police departments. I think we need to support our police departments and the people that in the grassroots, right down in the trenches that are fighting crime. I don't equate, moral laws are going to have an effect on crime.
30 seconds to you.
I also want to just say that I supported a bill that is in place, a law in place right now, a red flag bill, that if there's a defendant from a protection from abuse order, a judge can take that gun away temporarily to make sure that he or she is safe and the families and the community is safe. So things like those common sense laws, I think, are needed, especially when we have mental health issues that are running rampant in our society right now.
Mr. Buell, would you like 30 seconds?
Sure. My father served in the Indiana legislature for 27 years, and he actually was a champion of the red flag laws in Indiana. So I'm certainly familiar with those. And you're right. Obviously, we don't want guns in the domestic violence situations, because those are the most dangerous for police. Also, with our mentally ill. We absolutely agree on that.
Yes.
All right. Our third issue then today is bridge and road repairs. A lot of work needs to be done. Right now they are funded by the state's fuel taxes, which are some of the highest in the nation. Is there a better way to fund the repairs? And Mr. Buell, you did win the coin toss, so you begin.
Awesome. It goes farther than, yes, we absolutely have the second highest gas tax in the country, in which it's absolutely too high. And, gas tax trickles down to everything, cost of goods served. I talked to Charles up on Kelker Street when I was doing doors, and he drives a taxi, and, he has to work an extra 5 days a month just to pay for the increased fuel tax, plus the roads are horrible, and which the supposed to go to. What I think we need to absolutely do, there's acts like Act 112 that diverts money out of the liquid fuels fund to fund pensions and other things. We need to be steadfast, and when we're putting money away to spend on a problem, then we don't have to consider tolling bridges or doing all those things. We'll already have those monies available for those projects.
Representative Kim, same question. I was really thrilled to see Congress pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which is law now, and it would, according to the formula, funnel about $13.2 billion into our Commonwealth for roads, bridges, and highways. And a lot of our counties are ready to receive that money for shovel-ready projects that will help improve our roads and bridges. So thanks to the help from Congress, we have to be responsible with that money and really make sure that we hit the priority projects first to make sure that our roads and bridges are safe.
Mr. Buell, 30 seconds.
I just want to say, I love what you said about clean, congenial, like campaigns that are friendly, and because this is not about Representative Kim. It's certainly not about me. It's about you and what you expect for your government and what you've received over the last 10 years, and if it's something that you want, something different.
Representative Kim, do you have any more to say on roads and bridges?
Nope. Thank you.
All right. Thank you both for being here with us today. We appreciate it. And these debates will continue throughout the election season.